Hi guys and welcome back to Vee Vlogs. As you guys probably know if you've seen the vlog before this one, today I am doing a cooking video. Exactly what I'm cooking is chicken parmesan. Jazz?
Yeah?
You sure you don't want to do this with me? You're literally right there. So there's not going to be really any fancy twists on today's cooking. I know I usually interchange a few ingredients. Luckily for this one, it's pretty straightforward. I just had to substitute some of the flour and the breadcrumbs that are usually used for gluten-free alternatives, which I've actually found. Unfortunately, it is not vegan, although the chicken probably was, and we are using cheese because I'm not a big fan when it comes to a lot of the dairy-free alternatives, although I will be paying for it later. It will be worth it. So starting off, usually one of the best things to do is to kind of tamp it down flat when you are cooking it, because especially when you are going to be frying it and when it's going to be in the oven, it does make it a lot easier to cook. We just need to prepare a space. You can use a freezer bag, which it does keep the chicken enclosed, but you can also just set yourself up a little saran wrap mat. So we have our little plastic contained area where I have the chicken, although you guys can't even see it. So there's plastic laid on top and I just press the sides down, so as I am trying to flatten it, it doesn't spray everywhere. We're trying to keep it as clean as possible and always make sure to keep stuff clean. And to help us out, I did upgrade from a rolling pin. We now have Boris, a Soviet kitchen hammer. If you guys have one of these, there is the spiky end. I would recommend not using that. Use the flat end for this so you don't pierce the plastic. Just gotta take out your overly specific frustrations out on it, I guess, until you have something about half an inch thick. So now that we have the result of what happened when the chicken crossed the road, we're just gonna season it and then start adding some flour onto it. So seasoning can be anything you guys really prefer, but salt and pepper is usually the easiest staples and really hard to mess up.
Want to try some coconut water?
Why?
It's really good. It's good for you.
Okay. Oh. How do you drink that?
Smell it though.
No!
Just smell it.
No!
Smell it. It smells like socks.
So you're drinking sock water?
It's delicious.
Didn't you hate that when I first got it for you?
Yes, but it's good for you. And this one's very old. I'm gonna throw it out. Carry on.
Perfect. So I added salt and pepper to both sides of the chicken just so it's evenly seasoned. I didn't go too bad because I know Jessii doesn't like pepper, but just go for your own taste. I know some people, they prefer to actually add some seasoning into the flour mix, which is another trick that I learned when I was working at the restaurant. Although the recipe calls for this one, you can try that one as well. It's just sometimes flour clumps, so you just gotta be careful. For the flour, today I'm just going to be using some brown rice flour. We have our little strainer here, which I'm going to be using to sift the flour just to get a nice even coat on it. We're going to be flouring both sides of it. Hopefully this works. I think this is what's supposed to actually be happening. It's okay, buddy. You can make it through this. And the purpose of this is just to help the next step stick onto it. Jazz?
Yeah.
I see stains. I've been playing with the meat. Okay, so what I need you to do is just pour a little bit of flour onto this. So I can do like a light coat like that. It's just, I don't want to grab the bag with chicken hands. Just pour in a little bit.
What's a little bit?
Just go. Jazz,
What? You said!
I said a little bit.
That is a little bit.
I'm gonna have to restart now.
Why? Are you? Stop!
I did the exact same thing. Don't worry about it, I'll just do this. Love you.
Is this clean?
I cleaned everything. There might have been chicken near it at some point, like before it was, harvested. So everything's floured now, so what we have to do is get ready for the next step for this chicken. And we're just gonna be kind of setting up an assembly line, which makes it a lot easier, especially if you're making more than just two. Having a nice line going does make things easier and it keeps things a lot cleaner. What we're gonna be doing is beating in 2 eggs into this bowl here so we can dip the chicken into that, and then we're gonna be putting it into the breadcrumbs here. But I still have to add a little bit to this, but we'll get there. So now that we have our eggs ready, we are going to just be adding a little bit to the breadcrumbs. So it's not just that. What we're going to be doing is putting in a little bit of parmesan into the mix. So it helps stick to the bread and it gives it a little bit of a better taste. The recipe called for shredded parmesan. I could not find a solid piece at the grocery store. Hopefully shaved is okay. We're just going to be putting about half a cup of shredded parmesan. Just get it mixed in there. We have some dried basil leaves here. The recipe calls for adding some on top of the chicken parmesan right before you start baking it, but I'm just gonna sneak in a little bit now because I don't have any fresh leaves, but I still wanna have a little bit of a taste. Just put a tiny little bit into the seasoning. So we have our cheesy, bready, basil-y concoction. We're gonna set up the assembly line now. This part isn't for the faint of heart. Gotta take the chicken. We're just gonna evenly coat it into the egg. The flour helps the egg stick onto the chicken breast and then right into here. Make sure you get it nice and covered. And now that we have these definitely interesting breaded, cheesed, basiled chicken breasts, it's time to fry them. Hygiene. Okay.
Use your hands.
I'm a disembodied voice with a body technically, but no head. This part is the risky part. So we're gonna be frying it in oil. So I'm not sure if you guys can see 100%. We have just enough oil to kind of cover the base of the pan. You don't need more than that. I know most people expect you can toss it in a deep fryer. You could if you have it. I don't. And you don't want to be using too much oil because you don't want to splash it up. It gets really hot. One of my friends at the restaurant, he was pan-searing some steak. Just with the tiniest bit of oil, he got burned from a splashback all the way through his thumb. It wasn't good. So you have to be careful with oil, especially when it's really hot. We're just gonna be waiting until it starts to shimmer a little bit. That's how you know it's okay to start frying it, but gotta turn the fan on because we don't want to end up smoking anything out should anything happen. You guys can probably see now with the reflecting light that the oil itself is starting to shimmer. So I highly recommend using tongs for these because you do not want to be getting your hands very close. Grab your chicken by the thin end and we're just gonna put it down. And drop it away from you. About 2 minutes on each side is all that it really takes. We're not cooking the chicken all the way through in the oil. That's what the oven's for. So we're just getting it enough so the breading on it is nice and crispy, and then putting it in the oven is gonna be finishing off the chicken. We'll just listen to that if you can actually over the sound of the fan. And you guys always have to make sure whenever you are playing with tongs, you have to clack it a few times just to make sure that they're safe. So as you guys can hopefully see, we have a nice golden browning on the outside of it. I'm going to be taking this out and putting it into the skillet that we have prepared right here. Always make sure though, with the oil, take it off the heat and just let it cool before you dispose of it. Now we're getting to the good part. If you guys made it to yesterday's video, this probably looks a little familiar. I had to make my own pasta sauce, albeit with some materials not 100% from scratch, because Jessii doesn't like having chunks in her tomato sauce.
It's true.
That's the good stuff. So we're going to be putting tomato sauce on both of these chicken breasts and a little bit extra so it can cook in it. And then we're going to be topping each with a whole bunch of different kinds of cheeses that I got. But since Jess doesn't like tomato sauce very much, and she claimed this one, we're just putting a tiny bit on, a nice thin layer. The things I do for you, Jess. As she sits there right behind the camera. And then for mine, we got the Mac Daddy spoon. Oh yeah. Whoa. Put a little bit around on the inside. This is just how much is going on mine. Kind of wiggle them around in there a little bit. As you guys can tell, I do like my tomato sauce. Jessii, you're giving me like the most disgusted look right now.
I'm not a tomato lover.
But you like ketchup. But that's technically not tomato.
It's just sugar.
Just gonna mix it into the sauce a little bit so they can cook in. I feel like I might have gone a little overkill, but this is how I like it.
Wonderful.
We have 3 different kinds of cheeses that we're going to be putting on top. The first, since it's kind of in disc shape, we have some provolone. And yes, guys, I know I'm not really supposed to be eating dairy, as I mentioned before.
It's gonna be a fun night.
Love you. Hello, Miss Me. I know provolone. I have to admit, I did give her a little bit at some point.
You did? Oh, that's why she's stinky.
Provolone is good.
Wanna catch?
Well, I could. I was so scared you were gonna throw right in here.
Imagine.
And then we have our shredded mozzarella, which I just got pizza mozzarella. You know, I'm frugal and it was on sale. Sprinkling a little bit on top. And finally, a little bit more Parmesan, just a tiny bit, since there's some already in the breading. And now we have the monstrosity that will become, hopefully, a decent chicken Parmesan. Just what are you doing?
I messed up.
We're gonna be serving it on a bed of pasta. So Jessie's making that for me right now, a little off camera, and she just spilt it all over the oven.
I'm sorry.
So we're just gonna be tossing this into the oven right now. I have it set to 450 and we're gonna be cooking it for about 15 to 20 minutes. So fingers crossed this actually turns out well. I'm actually pretty hopeful about this.
Actually?
Actually. I know, I say it actually, like actually all the time.
It's like your favorite word.
I know, right? It actually is.
Actually though? Did you stop eating cheese? You're not supposed to as it is. Bee!
I'm gonna put it away.
Tye, stop! You're lactose intolerant. Did you eat the last one?
No, where's the last one? It's still bubbling. I think look-wise, we actually succeeded on something.
It looks good.
It does. We just gotta wait for it to cool. We don't really have a hot mat, do we? I think we succeeded.
Looks really good, Bean.
You gotta try it first, though.
You put me on the spot.
I did. With our water heater just screaming at us. Queen, what is it?
Gotta get a piece with the pasta.
I know, but you did something weird. You had to make yourself your Alfredo sauce as well.
Because it's good. Hold on, let me get this right. Oh my goodness.
It's just a pasta dish, Des. Come on. Is it actually good? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to eat it and find out. Yes, Miss Ween, we're gonna have to try it.
What are you doing?
Hi, sweetie. You had some tasty provolone, okay? We're gonna get you your food in a bit.
I'm so full.
You made too much. You made too much pasta.
I did.
You always do this.
I know. It was good.
I probably have sauce all over my face. So what would you give it?
A 9 out of 10.
Actually, best one so
That
far?
was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I couldn't
As
resist.
opposed to like the horrible pastries I've been trying to make.
They were, well, this is the best.
Come on, finish the rest of that
No,
answer.
this is the best. That's all I gotta say.
I know, some of the stuff that I usually make, I'm not usually successful. I would think this one, being that it was very straightforward, it was easy enough. So how often do you want this?
I mean, like, once a month?
Once a month? Gotta put it in my calendar.
Parm day.
She holds my schedule.
Not perm day. Parm day.
That's the other Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, just come back with little tiny afros.
Yep.
All right then, seeing as we've eaten, Jessii has attempted to eat, and when he wants to eat,
I love her so much.
yeah, I would say that. Just flick something at me. Yeah, thank you guys again for tuning in. And if you want to see more cooking videos, don't forget to comment down below. And any ideas that you guys might have, send them my way. I'd love to try new things and test them out on Jessii. And yeah, we'll see how long we survive for. But anyways, guys, thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you guys in our next vlog. Calm down, Winnie. See you guys.
Bye. Is it the yummiest pasta you ever had? Is it the yummiest pasta you ever had? Are you missing me? I thought you turned the camera off.